Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning. And today we've got a new choke out here that we've never tried before through this setup. And it's one that one of you guys has been requesting multiple times for the last month or two, I'd say. And when I finally found one for a good deal, I had to pick it up to bring it out here to see what it could do. Because I was also curious before you even started asking about it, what it would do. I just hadn't found the right one at the right price yet. So it's definitely going to be a pretty interesting one to test, that's for sure. But as for the setup I've got here today, I brought out the Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag here, but that new choke is this guy. This is a factory Mossberg Ulti-Full turkey choke, but it's the extended one. Now this 835 did come with the flush mount style turkey full choke is what Mossberg calls it. I don't know why Mossberg has to be so weird or overcomplicated with their choke designations. Even within the same line and thread style of choke, they have 3 or 4 different wordings for the same choke essentially, and they're all within a few thousandths of each other in constriction. It's complicated, and I don't know why Mossberg did it that way. But this is a factory stock Mossberg extended Ulti-Full turkey choke. It measures out right at a 695 constriction. So with it being 695, it is a little bit tighter than my stock flush turkey choke that came with this, that one being a 710. And we know it performs really well. So I expect to see some really nice results out of this extended Ulti-Full turkey choke as well at 695. And as for the shells I've got to run through it, I figured we'll start with a pretty much proven reliable shell through this setup, those being the Winchester Longbeard XR shells. These ones in particular are the 12 gauge 3-inch 1 3/4 ounce payload of 6s moving about 1200 feet per second. We know these shells should be good performers, and we know that 835 is a good performer, so it should just come down to what can that extended turkey choke actually do. But as for the test today, everything is the same as usual. The turkey target is set up at 40 yards, and I've got the chronograph so we can get our velocity out of the shell. So enough talking, let's get you guys a view of this target. We'll take the shot and see what kind of results we can get from Mossberg's extended stock turkey choke. Alright, so that shell gave us 1175 through the chrono. The boss claim is 1200, so I'd say we are pretty much right where we're supposed to be here. So our velocity is looking pretty good, but what kind of a pattern did that stock extended 695 turkey choke give us down there at our 40-yard paper? Let's go check it out and see what we got. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and this is what we got. And I gotta say, it's a little bit on the interesting side. Clearly, it's a pretty nice pattern, and beyond a dead turkey all day long. That would absolutely hammer out to 40 yards. But it's not quite as perfectly even as what we had seen previously, at least through the stock flush 710 turkey full that gun came with. But there could be a couple of reasons for that in this particular test. Number one, the choke could just perform a little bit differently, which would absolutely makes sense. But two, the wad looks a little bit different than what we had seen previously out of these Longbeard shells, and we'll take a look at that here in a second. So these could just be loaded ever so slightly different or something like that. I don't know. Either way, this is not a terrible pattern whatsoever. It would absolutely hammer out at 40 yards. You're going to get that turkey every day of the week. We have a nice hot core area, which I think is just on the back side of his neck right here. Definitely looks very nice there, but we do see a little bit of stringy and splotchy stuff around this right edge mainly. Now these are lead 6s, so it is common for us to get a few flyers and stuff in the pattern, but that right edge just looks a little bit splotchy compared to what we typically see. That probably has more to do with this one particular shell that we fired, but still, that's not a big deal when the rest of your pattern looks like that. But if we just kind of ignore that right edge and look at our main portion of the pattern here, it is a beautifully even spread of pellets. It might not be quite as baseball tight core as what we have seen through some other chokes and stuff with these Longbeard shells, but it is an older stock factory extended turkey choke. I don't necessarily expect to see super tight baseball cores out of it either, but that right there is a very nice turkey pattern. I just wish it was a little bit more even around the edges, and that's just something we're going to have to see as we continue to test this new box of Longbeard shells. Is it the shells or is it the choke? We don't know just yet, because it's definitely not quite as perfect as what we had seen out of previous tests. But I definitely think that I want to bring both that extended choke that we tried today and my flush 710 turkey full out to the range at the same time and compare the two side by side with the same shell and see just how much of a difference there actually is. So if that's something you want to see, then by all means let me know and we can try that. But as for today's results, definitely not a disappointment. I wouldn't be scared to hunt with that pattern at all, but we can also get a little bit nitpicky around the edges of the pattern. But either way, that's not a terrible start at all for that stock extended turkey choke, that's for sure. Alright, and here's the wad out of that shell. And as you can see, if you have ever looked at any of these longbeard wads yourself or have seen any of the other testing we've done, you'll notice right off the bat that this is kind of a yellow lime green color. The wad design in of itself looks the same. It looks the same shape, the same cut. It feels like the same exact material, but it's a different color. So did they change something in manufacturing process? I don't know, maybe, but it is a different color than what we had seen before. So there's always a chance that some of those inconsistencies could have just been down to something they changed in the actual shell. But as for this wad in particular, I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary here. It looks very much normal for a longbeard wad. No rips, tears, pinholes, damage, anything like that. And I think it did what it was supposed to do, all things considered, for today's test. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about those results right there? Definitely a very, very usable turkey pattern all day long. If you've got one of those stock extended Mossberg turkey chokes and some longbeard shells, it looks like you're going to have a pretty decent performer on your hands. But we did see a little bit of inconsistencies around the edges of that pattern. So we're just going to have to see as we continue to test this new box of longbeard shells and this 695 extended Mossberg turkey choke if there becomes a common pattern there or not. More than likely, this is probably just a one-off manufacturing tolerance type of thing with longbeard shells, knowing their track record here lately with quality control stuff. It's probably on them more than the choke, but I'm definitely going to bring both of them out here and run them with other chokes and shell combinations and stuff like that. So if there is a common pattern here, I think we're going to find out. But as always, leave your thoughts down in the comments. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Do you have an 835 or a 935 with either the flush turkey full choke or the extended Ulti-Full turkey choke? And if so, what kind of results have you seen out of either one of them? Do you prefer one over the other or anything like that? And is there another shell combo that you might want to see run through that choke? Let me know all that down below. And let me know if you guys want to see kind of a side-by-side comparison between the two chokes with the same shell to see just how much of a difference there might actually be between the two of them. Let me know if that's something you want to see as well. So definitely a pretty decent looking pattern here today, one that you can't really argue too much about. And I think we should continue to see some pretty good results out of that extended Ulti-Full choke as well. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.